How's it going, guys? My name's Nick, and as most of you know, I'm the only person in the class without a partner, so I had to improvise and come up with a creative way of displaying both the buyer and the seller's aspect. I'm going to be the seller, and we have my girlfriend filming and her roommate Holly, who's going to be the buyer. And basically what I did is I wrote up a bunch of random questions that I believe the buyer would ask the seller. So what she's going to be doing is I'm going to cut up all of these questions and I'm going to place them into this hat, and she's going to randomly pull them out of the hat and ask me the questions. So the reason I wanted to do this is because as a seller and actually as a buyer, you should keep everything as random as possible because you have no idea when the buyer is going to ask you a question or what they're going to ask you. So if you're able to answer these questions fluently and in no order at all, then you'll become a much better seller in the future. So what I'm going to do is cut up these questions really quickly and place them into this hat. Hopefully this doesn't take too long here. I just wanted you guys to all know that these were questions that I'd come up with, not questions that I had written down or the answers to. So I'd just written them down before this, but I didn't just want to have the answers because I want to do something a little more creative and kind of on the fly as I go. So we are almost done here. Just a couple more. Alrighty, so I have all the questions here. What I'm going to do with them is I'm going to place them into this hat. Mix them up a little bit. I'll give the hat to you, but before you get started, I just want to say it's great to finally meet with you guys. We have a very successful training program, and I think you guys will be very happy with it. It's our training program, although it's very expensive. It's just our training software is like none other on the market. We have real-time customization and a user interface that's so easy to use, and it's so simple that we honestly believe that anybody can figure it out. It's also the best and most successful training software on the market. And just before we get started with the questions, I just want to say that I knew you were a really busy company, a really successful company, and I didn't want to take too much time with this meeting because I know you have a lot of work to do. So I decided to call the manager that's actually in charge of all of the training, and I had asked him what are the current issues that you guys are facing with your training. And what he had done is he had told me that there were a few specific issues that were happening that you guys wanted to fix. And with this information, I knew that you guys were perfect for our training software. So we knew that you guys were having a tough time with buying so many training softwares and training your employees, but they weren't coming out to be successful. So we're hoping that once you hear and what our training software has to offer, that you guys will, it'll be very hard for you not to decide to go with our training software. So we are going to start. Holly is going to pick the questions out of the hat and ask me the questions, and I'm going to answer them.
Okay, so first question, can we contact other companies that have used your training software?
That's a great question. So we pride ourselves on our customer relationship, and we think it's a very key component that we have trust and a relationship with all of our past customers. So we'd be more than happy to give you phone numbers, emails, and all other sorts of contact information for all the other companies that have used our training software and how successful it has been for them. So we'll be more than happy to arrange those meetings for you.
Thank you. Okay. Can we get our money back?
Yeah, so even though we pride ourselves on our training software being so successful, obviously it's very expensive, so people often worry about, what if I pay for this training software and it doesn't specifically work for our company? So we offer a 6-month warranty that if you're not satisfied at all, or if you're not 100% satisfied, we'll be more than happy to give you your money back and give you a complete refund on what you spent on the software.
What makes you better than the competition?
So there's a lot that makes us better than the competition, but some of the main points is the success rating of our training software. We're so successful and so confident when it comes to our training software. What we usually tell people is that yes, our cost is very expensive. We're 30% higher than the next training software in the market, but what we tell people is you spend the money on our training software and you won't have to use any other training software. But if you go with a training software that says that's 50% of our training software, you're going to have to eventually move on to other training softwares, and in no time you're spending more than our training software on multiple other companies whose training software just isn't successful with your company.
What makes you better than the competition?
So what makes us better than the competition is our success rate and our return customers. 99% of the customers that we provide the training software to, they come back to order for the next year. Now, we'd like to say that's 100%, but we have a lot of companies that we provide training for that just can't afford our training software for the next year. We're in the process of trying to cut our costs and make it a cheaper training software for more companies to use, but we've come to the realization that our training software is better than any others on the market, so it demands a higher price.
And my last question is, the cost of your product is 30% higher than the competition's. Can you explain why?
So we have new technology in our training software, and that's why it's so expensive. So we provide so much interaction with employees and employers that no other training software does. So basically, we are training your employees with you. Now, most other training softwares on the market, all they do is just sell you this training software, say good luck, you'll figure out how to use it. But we are in there with you, helping you train your employees, and that's what we pride ourselves on. So that is the last question I have, written for myself and for myself to answer. But before I go, I just want to say that it's, as we talked about, our training software is very expensive, but before we leave, I just want to let you know that our training software is expensive for a reason, and it is very successful, and I promise you that if you buy our training software, you won't use any other training software there is.